Apollo 11, this is Houston, over.
Houston, Apollo 11, are you picking up our signal? Okay.
Apollo 11, this is Houston, affirmative. We're reading you loud and clear on voice, and we have a good, clear TV picture, a little bright crater in the bottom of the picture. I guess that's the spot on the tube.
I'm sorry about that one.
And if you could give us poo and accept, we'll uplink a new state vector and target load to you.
Okay. Houston, Apollo 11. One of the larger craters on the back side, I noticed a small dark speck on the outer wall, and I'm putting a monocular on it. I was able to see an area maybe a quarter of a mile in diameter with a really fresh-looking dark-colored pit. That seems to be in contrast with all the other fresh little craters or holes that you can perceive on the walls of any of these craters. And around this particular one, there seems to be 2 or 3 of these, especially this one that caught my attention. It's quite remarkable.
Roger, do you have a location on that one?
No, not a precise one. I've got several pictures of it, though.
Roger, we copy. We're getting a beautiful picture in down here now, 11. The color's coming in quite clearly, and we can see the horizon and the relative blackness of space. And without getting into the question of grays and browns, it looks, at least on our monitor, sort of a brownish gray.
That's a good way of describing it. It appears to me as though it made a difference just sitting back in the tunnel and gazing at all windows. It makes a difference which one you're looking out of. For example, the camera right now is looking out the number 5 window, and it definitely gives a rosier or tanner tinge, especially when you look straight through it and not at an angle.
Roger.
GNC flight.
And we're about 95 or 100 degrees east, coming up on my sea.
Still holding? Okay.
Say again, 11.
I say again, we're about 95 degrees east, coming up on my sea.
Roger, and for your information, we show you at an altitude of about 92 miles above the surface right now.
Okay. Houston, Apollo 11. Did you observe a difference in the N2 pressures before LOI? It seems to me as though the two were not equal. And the smaller B tank was the lower pressure of it.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I'm flying it in FCS minimum impulse, Houston, and it's rather difficult to keep it on a constant theta. The limb wants to wander up and down. I'm not sure in response to mass cons or what, but I can get it completely stabilized in theta and let it alone, and in another couple of minutes it will have developed its own rate.
This is Houston, roger.
Houston, we'll be moving shortly from the side window to the hatch window, and we'll try and pick up some of the landmarks that we'll be looking at as we approach power descent. Over.
11, this is Houston, roger, and we're through with the uplink. Computer is yours. You can go to block, and we'll have the information on nitrogen for you shortly. Over.
Roger, copy. Okay, Houston, several minutes ago I was exactly steady on theta, and since then I have been moving toward the limb pointed straight down toward the radius vector, and that's been despite a number of down minimum pitch impulses.
Roger.
We're over Splice B right now.
Roger.
We're about 88 degrees east, I would estimate.
We show you about south of the southwest of the crater Jansky right now.
My C doesn't look very much like a C. The area which is devoid of craters, of which there's not very much, is sort of a hilly-looking area. It's not like a mare at all.
Roger, we copy that about the C, and it looks like you were just giving us a view of the crater Nieper, the large crater on the left, and Jansky on the right.
We think you're close, but no cigar.
All right, 11, this is Houston. Would you care to comment on some of these craters as we go by?
Roger, we're approaching the approach path to ignition. This is equivalent to 13 minutes before ignition, and we're at about 80 degrees east, I guess. 83 degrees east. Would that correspond to location you're holding in present time?
Roger, we're showing your present position is about 77, 76 degrees east, looking back towards the east.
Hey, You should be looking back at Smythe C now.
Roger.
Okay, all right, Houston, what you're seeing in the middle of the screen now is the crater Schubert, and Gilbert U is in the center right now, and this comes up at about a little over 12 minutes before power descent. Instead of looking back at it, we'd be looking straight down at it at that time.
Roger. And we show you an altitude now of about 110 miles, and of course you'd be considerably lower at the initiation of power descent.
Okay, Houston, look at register 3 on the Disky theta. Theta is increasing toward my desired of 315, and I'll let the hand controller alone here, and I'll bet you it reverses itself.
Roger 11, we're watching the Disky now, and still coming in beautifully on the TV.
Okay, there's on the right side of the screen at the present time, there's a triple crater with a small crater between the first and second, and the one at the bottom of the screen is Schubert Y. Zoom in, it does have a central peak in Schubert Y, actually several of them, and you can observe those, plus the rim craters at the bottom of your screen.
Roger, we're seeing the central peak quite clearly now.
Okay, we're zooming in now on a crater called Schubert N. Schubert N, very conical inside walls, and the bottom appears to be nearly flat. Look at theta on the Disky. It's stabilized and is holding steady now.
Roger.
Looking out the window, I can see a number of small craters on the bottom of Schubert N. We're coming up on the foaming sea, where I'll be doing some P-22 marking on a crater of my choice, name of Crater Camp.
Okay, we'll be watching for camp.
And notice register 3 has reversed itself and is heading back the other way now without any pitch thruster firing.
Roger, Mike. We confirm that you've changed the direction of your pitch rate.
Generally speaking, the tendency seems to be to pull the LEM down toward the center of the moon, as in a gravity gradient experiment.
Roger 11, we copy.
Or it may have something to do with mass cons, or it may...
Roger, we've gotten...
it may have something to do with mass cons, or it may just be the peculiarity of the Disky display.
Okay, we've observed the behavior of your Disky. I think we've got the data here to work on it. Let us grind around a little while on it, and we'll report back to you probably in a rev or two.
Okay, well, in the meantime, I'm going to pitch down toward 315.
Roger.
three craters, three horizontal craters that you now have in the field of view are immediately underneath the ground track. The right hand and the largest crater that you see is Dubiago P.
Roger, we concur on the identification of that crater. And we show you coming up on landmark Alpha 1 here shortly.
Roger, Mike's having his first look at Alpha 1 at the present time. Yeah, there's a great bright crater. It's not a large one, but an extremely bright one. It looks like a very recent, and I would guess, impact crater with rays streaming out in all directions, which should make the correction of foaming sea easy to see coming up on it. Now, Crater Camp is one of the smaller ones out on the floor of the foaming sea.
Okay, we show you over the Sea of Fertility now, and you ought to have Langrenus down south of track a few degrees, about 9 degrees south of track.
Yeah, the crater that's in the center of the screen now is Webb. We'd be looking straight down on it at about 6 minutes before power descent. It has a relatively flat bottom to the crater, and you can see maybe 2 or 3 craters that are in the bottom of it. On the western wall, the wall that's now nearest to the camera, or near the bottom of the screen, we can see a dimpled crater just on the outside. And then coming back toward the bottom of the screen and to the left, you can see a series of depressions. It's this type of connected craters that give us most interest to discover why they're in the particular patterns that they're in. I'll zoom the camera in and try and give you a little closer look at this.
Roger, we're observing the dimple crater now. The central peak that we can see on the orbiter photos doesn't seem to stand out very well here.
Well, they're not central peaks, they're depressions in the center.
Roger.
And you'll notice on the pitch thruster activity, I put in a dozen minimum impulses and pitch down, and I'm still far from correcting back to 315. We're moving the camera over to the right window now to give you Langrenus with its several central peaks. And
Roger, we got Langrenus in our screen now. Okay, 11, this is Houston. We're getting a beautiful picture of Langrenus now with its rather conspicuous central peak.
Sea of Fertility doesn't look very fertile to me. I don't know who named it. Well, it may have been named by a gentleman whom this crater was named after, Langrenus. Langrenus was a cartographer to the King of Spain and made one of the early reasonably accurate maps of the moon.
Roger. That's very interesting.
I'll have to admit it sounds better for our purposes than the Sea of Crises.
Amen to that. Okay, it looks like you're coming inside now on the camera.
Well, I can't get behind to see the monitor. I'll bring the focus in, but we're going to be looking down past one of the LEM quads, and one of the antennas almost straight down at the ground track that we'll be seeing coming in. Now, I guess this is maybe 2 or 3 minutes before power descent. All right, that should put the LEM structure about in focus. Now I'm going to move it out to infinity and then expand the field of view. Crater Secchi is out my window now, window number 2.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. We show you coming up on the Terminator at 78:53, about 7 minutes from now. And we've also got the LOI-2 and TEI-5 pads ready for you after the TV, whenever you want to terminate over.
Roger.
And we're getting a good view of the track leading into the landing site now. Okay, it looks like we got Secchi K go by about 10 seconds ago, coming up on Apollo Ridge. And in the right-hand portion of our screen right now, we can see Messier, Alpha, and Bravo with the light-colored rays streaming off in one direction.
I don't know if you can make out, but in the Sea of Fertility, there are a number of craters that are just barely discernible, old craters whose outlines are just barely able to be seen.
Roger, I think we can make them out. The color really enhances our ability to discern features and craters over what we see in real time on our black and white monitor.
Right. At these low sun angles, there's no trace of brown. It's now returned to a very gray appearance, and like the aqueous says, it has a look of plaster of Paris to it at this sun angle, which is completely lacking at higher sun angles.
Roger.
Okay, this is very close to ignition point for power descent. Just passing Mount Maryland. That's a triangular-shaped mountain that you'll see in the center of the screen at the present time, with the crater Secchi Theta on top of the far northern edge of the mountain.
Roger, we're getting a good view of Mount Maryland and of Secchi Theta.
what we call Boot Hill. Occurs 20 seconds into the descent. The bright, sharp-rimmed crater at the very right edge of the screen, Censorinus T. Now passing the 1 minute point in powered descent.
Roger, and for your information, your current altitude is 148 nautical miles above the surface.
I'm unable to determine altitude at all looking out the window. I couldn't tell whether we're down at 60 or up at 170.
I bet you could tell if you were down at 50,000 feet.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We're passing some steep ridges here, the edges of old craters that were photographed by Apollo 10, and the crew of Apollo 10 was very impressed with the steepness of these ridges when they came over them at about 50,000 feet.
So, Roger, we can observe they're also steep even from this altitude. You've got quite a shadow being cast by the sun at these low angles.
The entire surface is getting considerably darker than the surface that we looked at previously when the sun was quite high above us. The crater in the right crater in the center of the screen, the smaller one, is Censorinus.
Roger, and we show you a little over 1 minute from the terminator at the present time.
How's the brightness of the picture you're receiving? I think we ought to open up the f-stop some as we approach the terminator.
Yeah, the brightness is still doing quite well. You can go ahead and open it up a stop or two. The automatic light level compensation seems to be working beautifully.
That's a good picture of Boot Hill.
Roger.
3 minutes and 15 seconds into the descent.
Roger, we're seeing Boot Hill now.
And the next crater coming into the bottom, that's Duke Island right there, and to the left, the crater, the largest of the crater near the center of the picture right now is Maskell and W. This is a position check during descent at about 3 minutes and 39 seconds, and it's our downrange position check and cross-range position check prior to yawing over face up to acquire the landing radar. Past this point, we would be unable to see the surface below us until getting very near the landing area.
Roger, I imagine you get a real good look at that tomorrow afternoon.
Sinuous rill is the one that was referred to in Apollo 10 as Sidewinder.
Good name, too. Sidewinder Diamondback. Looks like a couple of snakes down there in the lake bed.
And we're approaching the terminator now. And you can see the
decrease, and only the sunlit side of the bridges remain illuminated, while the dark sides in the shadow will become completely black.
11, this is Houston. The picture is getting a little grainy now. You might go ahead and open up the f-stop.
Landing point is just barely into darkness. That one crater is the upper part of which you see, lower part completely in darkness. A small, well-defined crater is Mulkey, which is about a beam of the landing site.
Roger, we can just see it looks like a little less than half of its rim right now. And we can make out just barely some features on the surface, maybe from Earthshine. Are you wide open on the f-stop at this time?
Yeah, and it looks like we're just about to get the sun coming into the lens, so we'll have to move the camera away.
Roger.
We can't see any Earthshine or any surface features at all in Earthshine now due to the fact that the limb is very bright and is causing our pupils to contract. It's a very fantastic view to see the terminator as you look along the edge of it. I think you'll agree that some of these craters that you're seeing in the picture now are really accentuated by the lengthening of the shadows as they approach the terminator.
Yes, it's a very beautiful and rugged sight that we've got on the screen now.
And I think you got some interesting data on thruster firings versus pitch angle. It looks like that limb just wants to head down toward the surface is all.
Roger, I have a comment here that says that's what the limb was built for.
I believe. And as the moon